Hello beautiful people. In today's recipe, we'll be making catfish pepper soup with unripe plantain. Here I have the catfish. I just got back from the market. I will show you how I wash this catfish. And I have the peppers. I have the cayenne pepper, the shombo, and I have the other peppers. It's pepper soup after all, it has to be peppery. I have ehuru here, the calabash nutmeg, and I used a half teaspoon of uziza seeds. This is highly medicinal, and I have onions as well. Here is the unripe plantain and the scent leaves. All these add a unique flavor to this catfish pepper soup. So let's go and wash the fish. Here the fish is still slimy, like I got it from the market. Washing the fish now with ordinary water. I've removed the gill. We'll have to wash all parts of the fish to remove those slimy things. I'm boiling hot water to use to wash this catfish very well. You know, the catfish has been swimming in the pond for months and the body is full of slimy things. So it's the hot water that will help to remove all those slime. If you don't wash it with hot water, you cook it and eat the slime alongside it. Now I added a tablespoon of salt and I'll rub the salt all over the fish and I'll bring in the hot water. This hot water is not boiling hot, but it's not warm either. It's hot enough to remove the slime from the fish. You can see it already sealing up in the water. I'll just scrape it. I'll show you an example. You see it coming up on top of the water. Apart from removing the slime, this hot water also helps this fish to solidify. If you use very hot water, the fish will peel, which is what you don't want. Look at all those slime going out. If you cook it without washing it with hot water, you'll be eating all those slime. That's why I hardly eat this catfish outside, because I don't know how it's prepared. I'll bring in cold water. The fish is firm now. It will not scatter easily when you're cooking it. I'll rinse it properly and transfer it to my sieve. Here, let's prep the ingredients we'll be using. I will add in the onions and the peppers. I'll add all this thing into my blender and I'll blend it till it's very smooth. The ehuru and the uziza seeds are hard to blend, so be sure to blend yours till it's very smooth. And I'll add in water. This water might probably be the only water I'll be using for this recipe. You can add in ginger or garlic to this blend, but I want to keep it basic. I'll transfer this to my pan. As much as possible, try to use a wide pan. This will help the fish not to break in. I'll add salt and I'll add in seasoning. If you have fish seasoning, that will be the best. I'll stir this to mix properly. You know, we are cooking fish and we don't have to cook it for a long period of time. So we'll add the salt and the seasoning before we add in the fish, and I'll introduce the fish. I'll place in the back of the head first because the back doesn't break easily. Put in the other cuts of fishes. You'll have to scoop the blended ingredients with the seasoning on top of the fishes. Make it mix well so that it will help marinate the fish. If you have the time, you can put this in your fridge for as long as you have the time before cooking it, so that the fish will absorb all the ingredients. I'll cover and cook this for 10 minutes on medium heat. As we are cooking the fish, let's cut the plantain, basically prepping the other ingredients so that it will be easier to just be mixing it when the time comes. You can cut the plantain to any shapes or sizes you want, but I like cutting mine into small chunks. And now we'll cut the scent leaves. This scent leaf is medicinal. It will add flavor to your pepper soup. You will like the taste. I'll set the scent leaf aside also. By now, the fish has been cooking for 10 minutes. If you remember, we used a wide pan, so this wouldn't break. This wouldn't be on top of each other. And gently, I will turn the fish to the other side to cook gently so that it doesn't break up. When you use a wide pot or pan to cook this catfish pepper soup, none will be on top of each other and the likelihood of it breaking up will be less. I'll bring in the plantain at this point and help it find a sitting. We'll be covering this and we'll cook this for extra 5 minutes. And this is 5 minutes later. Time to bring in the scent leaves. I always say that your seasoning and your salt should be proportional to the quantity of food you're cooking. If you're not sure, you add in little per time and adjust as you cook along. And now I checked for my seasoning, salt, pepper, and everything came out perfect. We couldn't check for this earlier because it was still raw. And I'll cover this pot and cook it for 30 seconds to a minute. And this is a minute later. Let's serve the pepper soup now. I hear that some people don't like the head of fish, but that's my favorite part of the fish. What do you think about this recipe? This is very helpful in cold weather. Here comes the fruit of our labor. I hope you try this. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.